So thank you very much for all your comments on the last video. I think I've learned a lot about the situation and what's going on in this hive, and I have a rough plan of attack here. So let me lay this out. What I think happened to this hive was Queen Balboa from 2 videos ago was doing great, laying eggs. She may have gotten old and the bees decided it was time to supersede, to get a new queen. And they either killed her or she died or something happened to her. The hive was full of eggs, and they turned one of those eggs into a queen, an emergency or a supersedure cell. And that's what we saw on the video 2 videos ago. It was a nice big fat queen cell right in the middle of the frame where it should be if it's an emergency or a supersedure. If you look back at that video, there's also swarm cells being formed on the bottom of that frame. And they weren't they were starting to be formed. They were cups. And I didn't inspect at the time to see if there were eggs or larvae in those cups on the bottom of the frame, which are usually where the swarm cells are. So what I think happened was the queen that was in that big fat cell hatched out, and either, well, one of 2 things happened. Either she was, that cell was ripped down because the bees didn't like the cell, and they killed her, or it hatched and she took off. And she took off to mate. And then 2 things can happen. So either she went off and mated and got lost or got killed or got eaten by a bird. She never made it back to the hive. They finished completing all those other cells that were on the bottom of the frame, because then they really needed a queen and they had all those cells to go. So that's what we saw in the last video, which was all those swarm cells that had been built. And I think those were their sort of last-ditch effort to make a new queen. And that's what we saw a few days ago. So I don't know what's going on in here now. I shot the last video 4 or 5 days ago from now. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to find in here, but after we find what we find in here, I'm going to tell you kind of what I'm thinking about doing. Hope that makes sense. All right, here we go. All right, I would not say this hive has swarmed. This is a full hive. I'm going to tilt the box up and see if there are swarm cells. All right, they're all open. They're all open, and looks like they were kind of torn open. They look destroyed. They do not look like, well, some of them look like they hatched. Some look torn from the side. All right, let's see if we can find a virgin queen in here or evidence of a laying queen. So here we are. I do not have right now the option of making a nuke, which is actually okay because everybody I talked to out here said that probably wasn't a good idea this time of year anyway. So I was going to experiment, but probably wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have worked out well. All right, I'm looking for evidence of a laying queen. If I find evidence of a laying queen, this hive is back in business. Lots of nectar. Yeah, these bees are working. Even just 4 days ago, there wasn't this much nectar in here. Yeah, this is all nectar up here. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Glistening nectar. This is our frame that was covered in swarm cells 5 days ago. Okay, I'm putting this box back together. We're going to look down the second box. No, there's no swarm cells there. Just brace comb. Looking for eggs or larvae or a queen. If there was a queen, she might be on this frame. This is the middle frame in the middle of the hive. Okay, so far no evidence of a queen. Everywhere I see is nectar down there. I'm going to take this box off and look to the bottom. All right, going down a level. Yep, there was a swarm cell on this 5 days ago. Okay, that is the end of the inspection. All right, in my hurry to get up here and deal with this situation, I realized that I forgot to put my microphone on top of my camera, so I hope this sounds okay. Sorry about that. This is onboard camera mic. What did we learn today? All of those swarm cells that we saw 4 days ago, 5 days ago, are all open, all gone. So one of the things I was thinking about attempting here was to take those swarm cells and put them into a nuke and start a small hive, and then get a new queen and put the new queen in the main hive. And then I would have the possibility of one of those swarm cells creating a successor to Queen Balboa, because it would have come from one of her eggs. That is no longer an option. I don't know what happened to all those swarm cells. I do know that they're all gone. Something, either one of them hatched and tore all the others to shreds, or the bees just took them down themselves, or they all flew out and they're all out mating somewhere, trying to mate. I don't know what happened. But what I do know is I found a local queen. I found a local queen one town over. So that is a cool thing. As of right now, I believe this hive is queenless. I saw no eggs, no larvae. That was 5 days ago and today. I saw no visible queen, no signs of any queen. There could very well be a virgin queen in there that I just missed. There could be a queen that is somewhere out mating, but probably not in the evening when it's getting chilly out. She would be in there by now. So what I'm doing is getting a new queen tomorrow, and I'm going to put her in the hive. We're going to requeen this hive and get them back in business. No longer will have Queen Balboa's genes in there, but we do have a strong hive, and there's a good chance these bees will make it through winter. So I'm going to be right back with a microphone next time, and we're going to be requeening this hive tomorrow.